is the King Arthur's Knights. King Arthur's Knights, which the original word knight meant black. Your Knights Templars in actuality was actually started and influenced by the Moors. Now we know this because even in your book Idris Shah book, this one is called, this was the way of this, no, not the way of the Sufi. This one was, it's just called the Sufis. The Sufis, introduction by Robert Graves. He talks about how the Baphomet that you see, the Sabbatic goat, is celebrated as the head of the Moor, which meant the completed man. And that's who they aspired to be like. So that meant that their masters had to have been the Moors. It had been the Moors. So the Grail mysteries come out of these particular signs. And the Grail mysteries is the knights, the trusted so-called knights, are looking for the Grail, and none of them can get the Grail because they all look for the Grail as some aspect of their own chivalry and own bravery, and they don't understand the Grail is ultimately the woman, the feminine principle, and they fail because they're not humble enough to look at it. Now we have a master that came to our hells of North America, and believe it or not, he had it right on point when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that 90% of my mission is with the black woman. So he understood that particular aspect, and so he had all these women. Well, that's what he's supposed to be. You can't know woman not unless you have a whole bunch of them. Now, don't necessarily mean you got to remain with a whole bunch of them, but you can't truly know woman, and he was dealing with the Shiva, the Dionysian, and the Osirian energy. You see what I'm saying? And just the same thing I had to go through. I had to go through different energies, and it's not necessarily saying these energies was negative or less than the other. It's just that I had to go through these different energies to know the different women. One thing I did find out was this, and it was purely spiritual, because I had made this call for sisters, and it's still a call that sisters should try to understand on a social level. And so in 2002, I made this call for the sisters. I said, sisters really got to make an assertive effort to try to get along better, because you all player hate on each other more than brothers do. And I understand why you're in double oppression. There's competition, and there's male competition. Even sometimes when male is not around, the competition level between women is set at a young age. And although the man might not be around, it's the same thing as the white man might not be around, his racism still permeates our community. Well, it's the same thing with some of the male competition. And so you play a hate on women based on a trained cultural aspect of the Western civilization, period. And so you play a hate on the sisters. So I made this call at the sisters. If you do have a good friend, you have to come closer and make an assertive effort to become more and more friends with each other. But later on, I'm entered into the mysteries of multiple women at the particular time. Which those particular mysteries at that particular time was that I had to be honest with them, saying, well, I'm not necessarily looking for a monogamous relationship right now, but you can get down, you see what I'm saying, with the Bobby Hemmitt traveling minstrel show.
Oh, shit.
Right. Now, I don't want to make fun of it and stuff, but I said, this is for this exploration into the many facets of the feminine. And as a result, because I was up front, all of them agreed to, assist me in this project, or in this quest. And one thing that came out of this in the middle of this was, and I had to call on a sister to make the final conclusion and have her bring down the goddess. And I said, I want to ask you a question. Do the goddesses supposed to get along? And she said, not up here we don't. I said, and I asked the question, because I got the channel, but I wanted to check it through the sister and through the goddesses. And they said, because each woman has their own universe. They have their own universe. And they ain't gonna take another person's universe bumping into theirs. You know what I'm saying? You just can't fuck around and go up in a woman's kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And think you gonna cook some meals and shit up in there and all. You know what I'm saying? That's her shit. You know what I'm saying? Now we talk about on the goddess level. You say, well, you know, I'm not talking about the polygamy level that's set by man, but I'm talking about the goddess level. If you let them express themselves truly, shit, we talking about the chaos beings here. And they ain't bumping around with another universe. They gotta, you know, they can coexist, but you ain't gonna damn overlap. So I learned a lot of mysteries into these particular sciences and stuff, and I said it makes sense. It makes sense. And I say when they do coexist, is somebody has to shut down something. They can, if you let them be the true being that they are, you understand what I'm saying? They're no different than the forces of nature. You see what I'm saying? And the forces of nature is some dangerous and violent shit. And this is studying the whole aspect of Kali. Kali is a motherfucker. She's Kali in Hindu, she's Lilith in Hebrew, she's Sekhmet in Kemet. You see what I'm saying? She's Tiamat in Babylonia. You see, and Apep in Egypt. There's several aspects of her. And so this chaotic and terrorist force, the same force that the government is fighting against now and telling you is some Arabs running around here, is this energy of Kali, the Kali Yuga, Kali, the destructive, the destroyer. Each woman has this primal force in her. And it's not evil in the aspect of what you think of as wicked. It's chaos. You see what I'm saying? And every moon monthly, this chaos shows itself when the cycle comes on. You see what I'm saying? The PMS is a remnant of the goddess, saying ultimately, I hold the destructive energy and the destructive power. So the concept here is Shiva has to learn how to cultivate these powers, and understand that these are forces of the universe that has to come into play. This girl here is a demon on wheels, a demon from hell. And I only see that force, it rears itself in a matter of seconds and it goes dormant. Pray I don't get a damn hour of this shit. It'll be over with. But it's just split seconds. It's never been over a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. You know, but I see the eval. Now, for you people that don't understand, I have to have a disclaimer for people who just joining us for the first time in the consciousness. This is for advanced people to try to understand the destructive forces of Kali and ultimately the ultimate aspect of woman in that particular aspect. But dealing with that, I understand that it's okay for you not to want to share your universe. But just remember on one particular aspect, these things have to be done. These things have to be done, so how else will we get to know woman? Not unless we engage. You see what I'm saying? In the different aspects of them. So I'm going ahead of myself. Right now we're going to turn this thing over and get some questions and answers in this Mysteries of Love, and then we can go on into various concepts of this realm as we go on. But right now we're going to turn this thing over, and we're going to get some several mysteries that's going down right now based on the questions in the spirit world, or in the question world, or the world of learning. We want to turn it over to different people from around the country and different people over the New York area that call in and want to know several things about the Mysteries of Love and Sex. So we showed you those beautiful sisters over there, but we also showed you the ones with the clothes on too. So we went from one level of sophistication to another level of mass just beauty. And all of that type of stuff to let you know we ain't dealing with no stripped down non-celebration of the divine feminine as Western civilization has you to believe that you are supposed to feel guilty of your own sexuality that you are born with that is inside of you every day. And not unless you are brainwashed in a form of insanity, why wouldn't you want to celebrate that? You know, so it was interesting because one sister, we was talking about, she said, man, really this earth really has nothing down here. It's just, and I say, I feel you. This shit is just ridiculous. It's repetitious. What's the point? You know what I'm saying? At this particular time, we're living for white people to create the next thing that we can't live with. In materialistic aspect, whether it's an article of clothing or whether it's some type of new technology. We're still waiting. He holds the power to create the next thing that we can't live with. What new truck is coming up? What new kind of rims is coming up? Scented rims? You know what I'm saying? You know, anti-fart repellent. What thing in art, in things that we got to make all this money where we got to go against our... Going back to what I was saying was, the sister was like, you know, this shit is repetitious. And she said, well, I don't see nothing down here. I said, there's only one thing that's down here that to me is the greatest thing ever, and that's woman. Right. I said, I can't get past it. Right. You know, and I say, this shit has been plaguing me since the fucking first grade. Right. Kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? And I can't get past it. It's the ultimate reality because it represents a physical representation of that realm in which we're going to go to. Ultimately, we're going to end up in this thing that we chase after. We get caught up on drugs and all kind of money, but our initial state for getting those things is to impress women. In this case, we're talking about the divine feminine. In this particular case, women to impress